Marvel's The Punisher, the show that we all care about, will not return for a third season on Netflix. Showrunner Steve Lightfoot, the terrific crew, and an exceptional cast including star Jon Bernthal, delivered an acclaimed and compelling series for fans. Was it acclaimed and compelling, though? And we are proud to showcase their work on Netflix for years to come. In addition, in reviewing our Marvel programming, we have decided that the upcoming third season will also be the final season for Marvel's Jessica Jones. We are grateful to showrunner Melissa Rosenberg, star Krysten Ritter, and the entire cast and crew for 3 incredible seasons of this groundbreaking series, which is recognized by the Peabody Awards among many others. We are grateful to Marvel for 5 years of our fruitful partnership and thank the passionate fans who have followed these series from the beginning, which is why they're screwing them all over. Anyway, that was Netflix confirming the cancellation of Punisher and Jessica Jones to Deadline. I'm Chris Compendio. This is episode 40 of AP Marvel. I'm here with Izzy Show, AP Marvel's own Jessica Jones. Hello, Izzy.
Hi.
You have met Krysten Ritter, so just by I assume you shook her hand.
What? I can send a picture of that.
Yeah.
If I can find it was on my phone. If I can find it.
Now, were you cosplaying as Jessica Jones, or were those just her regular clothes?
Yes.
Damn you.
Both. It was both.
Wow.
Like, I have now digressed to wearing that leather jacket and those, like, just jeans every day. And I have mostly black shirts. So,
Wow.
yes.
Where does the Izzy and where does the Jessica begin? We got 2 guests, not 1 guest, but we got 2 guests. Because I had 2 different peers of mine, 2 different other content creators, and they said, Chris, we gotta talk about Jessica Jones. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna pull them all together. Caitlin Galees-Rowe, hello.
Hi.
And we usually do plugs until the end, but like we can talk. Like I think the context is important. So you run Your Geeky Gal Pal.
I sure do.
Do you want to talk a little bit about what you guys do? And this is coming out a week from today. We're recording this, but so a week before this comes out, you just had a really, really awesome episode I just listened to today.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm dying a little bit.
There you go. Yep.
So I run Your Geeky Gal Pal, which is a small gaming and pop culture website that tries to focus on not being the usual IGN but baby version. And we try to focus on like queer people and people of color and doing crit. We also have a podcast called Palin Around, which Chris was alluding to, where we do critical deep dives on topics that are affecting the industry and how they relate to our culture and the internet and all that kind of stuff. And so when you're hearing this, it'll have been out for a week, but you should go listen to it because it'll be still good and still relevant. We just did an episode with Emma from Game Workers Unite talking about more than like just unionization 101 kind of stuff, going into, you know, their anniversary and what the human side of being an organizer kind of looks like, and just getting some answers and kind of opinions from her on stuff that's been happening lately, and it was really cool.
Yeah. It was educational, it was frightening, but it was also motivating, as I think that was my review of it, because, you know, assuming that all of our labor issues have not been solved in the week in between this recording and release, it's very real, it's very present, and people should be aware. But, yeah, I want to get that off the top of the show, because I think it's really important. Hannah Frank is our other guest. Hello.
Hello! So excited to be here.
Yeah, you are the host of Talking Tropes.
Yes, it's a media, film and TV mostly, critical podcast that we pick a trope each week or a show, and we talk about the tropes therein, and it's a lot of fun. You should check it out.
Yeah, yeah, I know David Frank because we went to school together, we wrote comedy together and stuff like that. And
I'm his cousin.
Yes. Yes, the Frank family.
The Frank fam.
Yeah, the media empire.
Truly, one day.
Yeah, so yeah, starting off the top of the show with that, just so you know, as we talk about Jessica Jones, we got some smart people. we know what we're talking about. So, this episode's called Pour One Out for Jessica Jones. So let's do a little retrospect. Obviously, there's still a third season coming out, but since she is officially, the show is basically dead in the water, this third season will kind of be a lame duck, let's call it. It must really suck to be working on post right now. Jeez. So let's rewind a little bit. Premiered, 2015, but before that, it was a Brian Michael Bendis joint. It was a graphic novel series called Alias, not to be confused with the J.J. Abrams Alias. Any of y'all familiar with Alias and what came afterwards from Bendis with Jessica Jones?
No.
Well, I know Runaways was after Alias, right? I assume.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Oh, he did Runaways?
Yeah.
Yes. I've read Runaways. I have not read
the
Alias.
First run. Yeah, he had the first run of Runaways, and I also am Nico, AP Marvel's Nico.
Yes, you're Nico and
thing.
Jessica Jones. Oh boy.
I think, my knowledge of Alias and I guess Jessica Jones in general was that I think Luke Cage appeared in some series and it was known it was Jessica and Luke and they had a kid, and so that's how I first knew of who she was. I might be mixing the information together from the past, but I think that's how I remember first hearing her name.
Yeah.
And then after Netflix announced the deal, then
yeah, this was supposed to be a mature Marvel imprint. It still has that first scene of Jessica throwing the dude into the glass door of Alias Investigations. And it's significant because the first word uttered in the comics is, I forget which character, if it's Jessica or the dude that she's throwing. One of them just yells, "Fuck!" And I was like, okay, this is real Marvel here.
Let Marvel say fuck.
Yeah, let Marvel say fuck. Let Jessica cuss at Netflix. But it was, I kind of like how they kind of got more into superhero stuff in Alias because it was more connected to the wider Marvel universe. Technically the show is in the MCU, but the TV shows are kind of their own thing. Mm-hmm. So you had weird tidbits apparently Jessica Jones went to the same high school as Peter Parker and had a crush on him, but he never noticed her.
That's
I could have sworn I saw that detail somewhere.
Well, I was thinking. I realized. I guess they were. I guess Peter was the same age as Jessica.
Right.
So.
But it's there. There's kind of a distinct art style when Jessica Jones is younger, and when she tries to be the Jewel superhero, which they allude to in the Netflix show, but they just kind of toss the costume away, literally and figuratively. And having Luke Cage in, there are a lot of guest characters, but I guess within the confines of the Netflix part of things, Luke Cage was all they can really get. I don't know if you guys realize this, but this was meant to be an ABC show at first from the same writer, Melissa Rosenberg, who she's done a lot more TV work, but I think she's most famous for writing the Twilight films.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right? Any Twilight fans here?
No.
Yo, I just fucking recently rewatched all of those movies because I was held hostage, and they're a lot.
Yeah.
You gotta watch it with the commentary on, that way you can just hear sad Robert Pattinson.
That just seems awful, actually. Hearing that boy just be upset about his career is not how I want to spend my time.
I know. Unfortunately, Melissa Rosenberg wasn't in the commentary for the first movie, but I distinctly remember the director, Kristen Stewart, and Robert Pattinson were there, and a lot of it was just the director going, yeah, we wanted to do this for that shot, but the weather didn't really work out, so it's not really that great. And then Robert Pattinson's I have really small hands in that shot. And it's just these random observations throughout the entire
God, that would be me.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't believe ABC picked it up, but I believe in that incarnation it was supposed to make more references like, Stark Industries, yada yada yada, and it was supposed to be Carol Danvers, not Trish Walker, who was going to be her bud. But
That would have been weird.
movies got plans for her, so that couldn't work out for obvious reasons. But I don't think the show would have worked on network TV.
No, not at all.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I guess a shittier version would have, but...
Yeah. I saw the Oscars, and they kept showing that ad for Whiskey Cavalier.
Oh my god, yes.
That actually looks really
Okay,
good.
here are my thoughts. This is a digression, but here are my thoughts
Do
on
it.
Whiskey Cavalier. All of the, like, joke ads that they had before, like, the, like, joke, like, getaway vacation ads and, like, the
Yeah,
fake,
yeah.
like, spy tampon ads, I liked that. And then anytime it just cut to, like, the network, like, casual romance, like, bullshit, it was so bad, and I lost interest immediately. I just
Yeah.
can't with it.
It sure looks like a show.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's like a weird marketing campaign, but like,
Oh, wait, is this a
I
TV
don't
show?
know.
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Oh, I thought we were just talking about, like, a whiskey brand was just, like, getting real wild with their advertising. I was way more into that.
Well, there was the whiskey
It's
brand that had the Ridley Scott commercial.
That was weird. That was a strange,
So weird.
bizarro commercial. Anyway, yeah, I was just kind of saying, yeah, there is definitely a divide between network TV and cable TV.
Yeah.
And there's even like the third tier of like it's premium TV. So like you have your HBO, you have your Showtime,
Mhm.
and now
your FX.
FX is kind of FX and AMC are definitely trying to get there, even though they're still technically basic cable. But definitely Netflix, definitely Amazon, Hulu, and
Mhm.
Disney Plus are trying to get there too. But yeah, and then what I wrote down here in the doc. What can we say about Rosenberg's prior work? And I think everyone just kind of groans when I said the Twilight movies.
I mean, it almost makes sense seeing with season 2 of Jessica Jones, like that connection. I just don't understand where season 1 came from then.
I mean, Alias, I would guess.
I
Because,
guess.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
but-
I guess you can see it in the, like, kind of overtly forced romance arcs, too. Like, some of her stuff with Luke Cage, I was like, alright, I guess this is, sure. Yep, alright. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And to be fair, like I don't think she's not to blame for Twilight. Like she's not Stephanie Meyer.
That's true.
So-
She made Twilight worse, I'm sorry.
Okay. She also wrote the first Step Up movie. I'm looking up on Wikipedia right now.
Fascinating.
Interesting.
Episodes of Ally McBeal, Boston Public, Birds of Prey, The OC.
Wow.
Oh, she wrote for Birds of Prey? That show was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
It's probably really bad, but I enjoyed it at the time.
Dexter. She wrote 8 episodes. She was nominated for 2 Writers Guild of America awards.
Which season of Dexter?
Probably the good ones because she actually got award noms. So that's
What year?
2006 to 2009.
Yes, like early.
Okay, yeah. So not so
This
like.
woman has written for, like, every messy media property in the last decade.
Hercules. Look at that. Not. What was the other one? Xena. That would have been. Oh man, I don't remember Hercules very well except for disappointed, like that one clip. No one knows what I'm talking about. Anyway,
Which
I think
Hercules are we
so.
talking about?
Yeah.
it was like Kevin Sorbo, and it was kind of like the same era. I think it was the same production company, maybe the same universe as Xena. So it kind of
No.
had that same.
No
oh,
idea.
Yeah.
Man.
I think I remember it because my high school drama teacher would quote it all the time.
Big
Like,
Kevin Sorbo
disappointed!
fan.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. She'd be like, disappointed. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that sounds like that sounds familiar.
Yeah. I'll put
But,
in the
like-
show notes.
I guess like going along to your point, I mean, so Daredevil came out before this, and I think people, I guess, when they heard about the Netflix series, they thought like, oh, like this will be like interesting, like a new Marvel TV, right? Like more content's great. But I remember, I think when Daredevil first came out, no one expected to be like, I guess, that level of mature and like also to be that good, considering you just had Ben Affleck as Daredevil. And I think I guess Jessica Jones had the same thing. Like, one, no one expected. I guess people didn't know what they were like expect getting into. I mean, they had like Daredevil to go back on, but like, and I guess maybe expected like that level of quality. But like, I guess the claim came from like this like very low expectations and then like just this very stellar like quality.
Yeah, I mean, it's like kind of Marvel dipping their toes in quote-unquote prestige TV for the first time. Not to say that Daredevil wasn't. I mean, I really like Daredevil, but, you know, it didn't really get anything except for, like, stunt awards. But, you know, as this press release mentions, recognized by the Peabody Awards. So this was kind of like Marvel Television's big critical hit. So it was their first female. Oh, sorry, their second female title character. The first being Agent Carter.
How could you forget Agent Carter?
I literally wrote it down here, and I forgot anyway. But Agent Carter, great show. I love Agent Carter a lot. Season 2, little iffy, but they should bring Agent Carter back.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Disney Plus.
I was thinking, that was my shower thought today. It's like, wait, why don't they just do that? Because they're doing like, I'm not gonna, okay, sure, yeah, Scarlet Witch and Vision show, yeah, whatever. Give me Agent Carter season 3, bitches. God.
You're gonna make me pay for a whole service.
Yeah,
the least
for
you
real.
could do.
Haley Atwell, give her more work. Jessica Jones, not a costumed hero, and maybe not a hero at all. Caitlin, would you agree with that?
Yes. She's ultimately like, I'm not a hero, don't say that. And then she like, you know, kicks people in the shins or whatever.
Yeah. Just gotta pick up someone's car and, yeah, like, I don't know, smash their window or something like that.
Well, sorry to jump in. I think, like, I watched Daredevil season 1, and I know I'm in the minority of people on this podcast who did not enjoy Daredevil.
Oh, I didn't like it either.
Okay.
That's fair. That's valid.
I just know from your past episodes that you guys love it. I'm not...
I mean, like,
Get out of my show! No, go ahead.
I enjoyed it, but like it was just so much like legal jargon. I'm like, I don't understand half of what
Vice City.
For me, like, it was just, I think especially after Daredevil, where the character was so conflicted all the time, to sort of have Jessica just sort of own not being a hero and to just sort of own, like, yeah, I fuck shit up. I do what I have to. Who cares about God? Like, you know, it was just nice.
No gods, no kings, only Jessica Jones.
Exactly.
Only whiskey.
Only whiskey Cavalier.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Coming soon to ABC.
Jeez.
So what would you say like Jessica Jones's arc then was? You know, like she seems to kind of know who she is as a person, but what did her arc consist of, and like what kind of themes? And like giving you a lot of things to talk about right now, but like if you just kind of want to jump into that.
I mean, my thing with Jessica Jones that I have a hard time with is she's absolutely like every shitty, fucked up, like scruffy video game man, but like it's less awful because she's a woman.
Agreed.
And like that's frustrating on some levels because I think that trope is just generally bad. Like I think being like an unrepentant angry alcoholic who like sometimes has a quote unquote heart of gold is like a lot to unpack, and you know, there's a lot going on in that. And I don't know how successful Jessica Jones is, like, ever is, honestly, of, like, dealing with that in any meaningful way. But I enjoyed it when I first watched it. And, I mean, like, I like that shit. I'm a sucker for that shit, even though I could, you know, identify it. So I don't know. I think she tries to grow and change, but I don't know. She's really, really entrenched in that I'm broken and I'll always be broken shit. And I'm like, all right.
Sure. Yeah. When you said dealing with it, do you mean like kind of
go to therapy, Jessica Jones?
Okay. Yeah, no, she doesn't seem like a talk about my feelings type person, but I mean, because she goes through some shit in season one.
She went through some shit technically before season 1.
Yeah.
Go to therapy!
Yeah.
Well, she did. She has the whole coping mechanism that they sort of talk about a little bit, at least. So it seems like she tried therapy for a time.
Stay in therapy. Find a better therapist.
Are you referring to like she was like remembering the
street names?
Street names, right? And then you had like an actual like a stalker villain basically who literally buys her old house.
Yeah,
doesn't Kilgrave
he does.
Played by the wonderful David Tennant. He does do that. Yeah.
I fucking hate David Tennant now just because of that.
No, it's so interesting because so I used to watch Doctor Who and I think it's so interesting that before he was cast like I'm the like happy-go-lucky doctor who like loves everything and won't kill people and like has a big heart to like this twisted psycho, and now he's literally playing the devil in Good Omens. Like how the typecast is switched around just like that. And I think just spoke I mean for me who's watched Doctor Who before, it really just like spoke a lot how like he could just stick to his acting skills.
Oh yeah.
He subverted that so aggressively, and you're just like, what the fuck? And when I can attest, like, his episode where he came back in season 2 was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And his really, really haunting presence. Oh, yeah. Also an aside, Chris, I think you mentioned something about the 7th episode, like about like the episode like with Jessica's like flashback, I guess, that you didn't like.
Oh,
and now
season
I
2?
understand. Yeah, and now I understand why I don't like it.
Oh, well, we'll get there, believe me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he was also Barty Crouch Jr.
Yes.
Harry Potter Goblet
Yeah.
of Fire. That was the
But
year
like a very
before
minor role.
Yeah.
he was Doctor
Right?
Who.
Like,
Yeah. Kept sticking his tongue out and overacting a lot.
Yeah. I think for me, the biggest theme for season 1 that I always come back to when I talk about this show is the power dynamics. And like everyone talks about how the show, it's about like sexual assault, consent, rape, like really heavy topics. But it's like almost every scene, you can identify clearly what the power dynamic is between the characters and like what it's trying to say about these power dynamics in larger social contexts. And like it's just fun for me to rewatch the show and like pick out those moments. So like that's my big thing with season 1.
Got any example moments?
Off
the top of your head?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's very clearly, I think it all stems very clearly from having a really strong villain, with David Tennant as Kilgrave, and the fact that his power is that he's able to control people. He's able to say anything and the person who hears him will have to do it. So that's just like asking to talk about this, Yeah. And then he's always controlling the people around him and in his life, but it also talks, when we sort of see his backstory a little bit, like he's being initially controlled by his parents. He doesn't have power and he's able to take power back. And Jessica's whole arc of escaping from him and then having to deal with his return is sort of about escaping from being under his control, and having to flip that. But then even with her and Trish, like her friend Trish in the show, like Trish has money and she has power that Jessica doesn't have, but Jessica has literal physical power that she doesn't have. And then with her relationship with Luke Cage, like she's a white woman and he's a black man, and that is its own power dynamic that we sort of see explored. And he's just like a very strong person, but she again has literal super strength. And like you see it a lot in sort of their sex scenes, where it's like she's able to sort of overpower him, and it's like unexpected, but then also like in the bar, like she has the power on the street, you know, if that makes sense. I feel like I rambled.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Izzy or Caitlin, anything to add on that specifically? Because like I'm, I feel like Luke Cage is just such a pivotal moment of that first scene, of that first season.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like this dabbles a bit to the second season, but I think you also, just because like I literally have almost finished watching it as of like past 48 hours, but you definitely do notice like that power dynamic in season 2, albeit I think a little weak.
It's a lot.
Not little.
It's a lot weaker, in my opinion.
Yeah, like in regards like to the first season, like, and I think like Luke Cage into the mix. I think in regards to Luke Cage, I think it definitely at first felt like, Jessica and Luke, like they're a quote unquote like pair, so it felt almost necessary. But I like how the show really focused on, like, it's Jessica Jones' show. It's not Jessica and Luke, and really acknowledging that the duo is there, but also, really focusing on Jessica as like a character and showing what she goes through. And relapse, I think, is this is second season, but like relapse is like a big thing, and I think Jessica sort of overcoming, I guess, her struggles more. Season 1 made it feel like a lot more hopeful, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
In the first season.
I think also it just popped into my head, another example of the power dynamics that I didn't mention yet, is the Jerry Hogarth, the lawyer, and sort of her whole, not a fan.
I said yes, like, yeah, you're right.
Chris's groan seemed a little bit more.
we talked about her in our lack of queer representation episode of AP Marvel.
Yeah,
and we had some stuff to say about her back then.
Yeah, well, but like within her whole sort of like love triangle, like clearly like she's a powerful lawyer. She's in control of her life and her destiny. And then like with her interactions with Kilgrave, and then with her like wife that she's cheating on, and even the secretary, like it all sort of spins out of control, and those power dynamics are constantly shifting. Like that's something that I appreciate in season 1, is that the dynamics never feel static. They feel like they're always sort of changing depending on the scene and what's happening. Like it's not just, I'm always more powerful than you and I always know what's right. Or I'm always weaker than you and I never get anything right. Like people have ups and downs.
Yeah, you see people a lot like making contingency plans,
right?
And kind of acting and reacting, and it's they're all just power plays. I think that's kind of the interesting thing about season 1. Caitlin, anything else on power dynamics? I feel like we've been talking a lot. Everyone else.
Sorry.
I think no, you guys are fine. I mean, that's podcasting. I think that Reid is totally right. The thing that I always associated season 1 with more was how we invade each other's boundaries. Like Kilgrave is obviously like the big, like, horrible example of that. But like there's so many interactions in that season between like Trish and Jessica, and like Trish and her mom, and like Luke and Jessica, just like and like Malcolm especially has like so much going on with that kind of stuff, and it just feels like there's constantly like just little ways that like everyday people like don't respect each other's boundaries, or like don't notice them, or don't care, that then gets kind of like brought into the forefront by Kilgrave and all the awful shit that he pulls. But it's like it's just kind of always there throughout all of the plots with everybody.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, and then you have, I've always really enjoyed the dynamic between Malcolm and Jessica.
Yeah.
Kind of his, kind of her weird, well, okay, not weird, but like
No, their relationship is weird.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. I mean, like, he's literally, like, messing around with her space a lot, right? Like, he just kind of goes in and out.
Let's talk about boundaries.
Yeah. Kind of the literal embodiment of that. But he kind of goes through an interesting arc, and a lot of that's like spurred on by Kilgrave and his influence, but he has a real drug problem that he has to overcome. Kind of blanking on. I feel like Jessica just kind of like made him quit cold turkey, but someone correct me if I'm misremembering things.
No,
but
I
he
think you're
basically
right.
cleans up. Yeah.
Yeah, no, his arc is weird. That show handles addiction in a really weird way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so especially when we get to season 2.
Ugh.
I'll tell you about that. Anything on season 1 before we spend like 2 minutes talking about the Defenders?
No.
I guess like to speak towards like this note you had here, but like, the trope of Jessica being this alcoholic like anti-hero, and like alcoholic anti-hero, and like being known as like Jessica Jones. Like I remember distinctly how like she almost became like this sort of icon amongst like the people I guess in the community, like people I guess like in like the Marvel community scene who like saw Jessica as like this sort of strong woman, like a woman being strong because like she's tough, and that like definitely. I mean, I like looked up to that a lot, but I think you also realize, like especially as you go throughout the show, that's not always the best thing,
Go to therapy.
Well, yeah, but that's the
Go to
thing. That's the
therapy.
thing that's frustrating is like the show. I feel like tries to be like, "Hey, this isn't great," but then it keeps like leaning back into it, and I'm like, "All right."
Yeah.
Pick a side.
Because that's who she is, they always have to have her regress because Jessica will be Jessica.
Yeah, like as someone who was like at the time of watching season 1 when it came out was like a feelings are stupid, I'm gonna be drunk all the time person. Like it's better to, be able to grow past that and realize like it's okay to have feelings and talk to people and maybe not like vent through like substance abuse.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
sort of one of my frustrations with season 2 is that I feel like season 1 sort of tried to build towards that a little bit, especially with like Jessica's relationship with Trish. And then season 2 just does nothing with any of that, and in fact make all of it worse.
Ugh. Well, speaking of making it worse, the Defenders.
Ooh, sick burn.
This was the show. Yeah, so usually in comics, people have different runs on the same series, and you get to see different writers' interpretations of the characters. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them unlock potential that you might have never seen in the character before. The Defenders was it was run by the dudes who made Daredevil, not even season 1, but Daredevil season 2, which not great television, but I guess Marvel Television was like, hey, you guys did okay with that one, and we can't find anyone else, so you guys are in charge.
The hand was in that. The hand's in
Yeah.
this.
Aha.
Two
Well.
and two together.
Well. They, Christ. Okay, so they, I remember really liking episode 1. That was directed by S.J. Clarkson, who, directed, I think, the first 2 episodes of Jessica Jones. I think she's, like, been Emmy nominated, or she's been nominated for other stuff for her work on Jessica Jones. She was going to direct the 4th Star Trek reboot movie, and then she had to drop out because she ended up attached to some sort of Game of Thrones prequel for HBO. But anyway, she's going places.
Clearly.
We can sidebar about Game of Thrones prequel later.
Every messy fucking media franchise. Every single one.
Yeah, S.J. Clarkson gets around. So, yeah, the Daredevil season 2 people basically wrote their interpretation of Jessica Jones, and if you, watch all the trailers, it's like, okay, there's the blind ninja, there's the whiny white billionaire boy, there's the black guy who's bulletproof, and then Jessica Jones, here's her smashing a shot glass on a bar. And everything that was focused on, hey, these are the distinct parts of each of the 4 characters, Jessica was just like, oh yeah, she's the one who drinks.
Yeah.
The trailer capper at the end when she was like, You know, it was like her when they were in the subway and she just sees some dude's, 6-pack of beer
Yeah.
and the guy sleeping, so she just grabs one and just starts drinking, and Matt Murdock and Luke Cage are just, like, staring at her, but it's like, yeah, that's her thing. She drinks a lot.
Yep, that's her superpower.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only one.
Yeah. Her other superpower in the show was that
Taking
she was
pictures.
able to... Well, taking pictures, but she was able to punch anyone out or in or out of consciousness, which I thought was like whenever they need to wake someone up, she would just punch them. Yeah, I think the interesting part about her is that she's the only one who rejects the call to action. She's the only one who, like, she's sitting at the dinner table and she's like, "Yo, y'all are nuts. I'm gonna leave." And it's like, yeah, you're right. Like, don't get involved in this. But eventually, she, because she has sympathy for, like, her connection to this whole thing is that, the wife of someone who was involved in this shadiness is, really hurting from their loss because of the machinations of this weird organization. So, you know what? I'm gonna push a car through this window and I'm gonna join the fight, and then that's pretty much that's the whole season. She doesn't do anything else. Which doesn't matter anyway, because they don't mention the Defenders at all in Jessica Jones season 2.
Nope.
Good.
Yeah.
They reference the Wrath, like Civil War, I guess. More
Yeah.
than Defenders.
Yeah, but
Maybe
there
not really.
was no mention of the fact there was a giant freaking earthquake in Manhattan. There was no mention that, hey, remember Daredevil? Remember how that guy died?
Well, I would be surprised if this was. Actually, no, never mind. Backtrack on that
He's
thought.
dead, Chris. Why would you bring it up? He's
Yeah.
dead.
Oh, sorry, did I spoil that? Yeah, Daredevil's permanently dead.
Oh, no, I just meant, why
There
would
was no season
you...
3.
If someone's dead, you don't have to talk about them. Those are the rules.
That's true, yeah. But it's Marvel, so they always have to throw in random references anyway. It is my understanding that, Caitlin, you did not finish season 2 and you just read up on the rest of it.
Yep, that's correct.
A buddy!
I also didn't watch Defenders because it looked terrible.
It was.
It was underwhelming.
There were good scenes.
I remember literally nothing about the Defenders except that the building falls at the end.
As soon as
Right.
they were like, we're really just going to keep committing to Iron Fist, I was like, goodbye.
Man,
Ooh.
oh god, I can't get into this anyway. And it is my understanding that Hannah and Izzy have both kind of last minute binge watched season 2.
Yes.
For the purpose of this
I-
episode, I think.
Yes.
Yes, I did not. As we mentioned earlier, I am one episode away from finishing,
Mhm.
but looking at the notes, it looks like looking at the notes. I mean, like, this is bullet points, but it looks like what I thought would happen happened. So I guess I'm prepared.
yeah.
But one more thing before we touch on season 2. So I was looking at our old lectures for the Defenders and Jessica Jones.
Oh, for the Stuco class that we do?
Yeah, so, and my co-teacher at the time, Thomas, I remember I was, like, sitting in his house, like, trying to come up with some ramshackle arc seeing it now as, like, a ramshackle arc. And
For
we
Jessica
were-
and the Defenders?
Yeah, I think,
Okay.
for, like, everyone. Like,
Please,
Like-
God, let them have a story. Any story.
like we, I think Daredevil and Iron Fist, I guess, but I think Daredevil and Iron Fist, I think, were the more obvious
Yeah.
ones, which, like, the latter of which kind of sucks. We couldn't find anything for Luke Cage, but, like, for Jessica, we had come to the consensus that she essentially tries to learn to work with others and finds that maybe she is, in fact, a hero. Obviously, when we go back to season 2,
None of
that's
that.
not the case. Yeah. And I don't know, like, I think sort of the journey of, like, maybe this will be an episode, but I guess relapse in the MCU, like, through Tony Stark, maybe through Jessica Jones as well, is something interesting I wanted to explore. And Jessica definitely has those moments where it's very much like an up and down roller coaster. But I think in season 2, it was too extreme.
Yeah, no, there was definitely some ups and downs for these characters because man, everyone is just unhappy in season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hannah, since it sounds like season 2 is so fresh in your mind, if you want to try to tackle this.
I mean, where do I even begin?
We can begin with the mother, since she was like the. I mean, when you're talking about power dynamics and how when you're talking about literal superpower, Kilgrave is very different, but her mother is the same-ish.
Yes, like she's like a surprisingly manipulative character. But
Also, like, I'm sorry, Hannah. I'm gonna
go for it.
Stop doing fucked up moms.
I know. I'm so
like, I'm so
done.
fucking tired of like women who are terrible mothers. Like, we get it. Women are bad.
I'm a monster.
I'm a monster and I raise monsters.
Well, it seems like the like classic like womanhood dichotomy, you know, like either you're a virgin or a whore, you're either a monstrous mother or you're the angel mother who's died, you know, like there's never like an in between.
Let a mom live and not be the worst challenge 2019.
Yeah.
Truly.
Do y'all see Daredevil season 3? What's their mother shit?
Nah, bro.
Ooh.
I don't watch that fucking
Catholic garbage.
beat up garbage man.
Go ahead, Anna. Keep going.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think just on a whole, like, the writing is just not up to snuff with season 1. Like, that tension that exists in every scene of season 1 is totally absent in season 2, in my opinion. Especially in the first, like, 4 episodes. Like, until her mother gets introduced, it sort of feels like we're just sort of floating along, and anything else that happened in Jessica's past, like, didn't change anything. Like, nothing happened, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know Netflix's like biggest, like the MCU Netflix universe's biggest problem is that they have like all these filler episodes. I think if this show was like season was like 10 episodes, I think it would feel a lot more like compact and less like we were slugging through it. But it did get like really over contrived and predictable at a point. I was like, oh, she's gonna be her mother, isn't it? And because I also knew that fact, but it was just like it just felt, I guess, I think the tension that was in season 1, it's almost as if the writers sensed that they were winning people over this dark, gritty Marvel universe, and then turn that up like to like times 20.
Yeah,
in every other show.
Like it just feels like melodramatic compared to like dramatic, you know, like
yeah,
my long lost mother.
Right. Like, you know, like season 1 deals with trauma from Jessica's past, but it's like external drama. And then all of this is just like, I'm sad about my mom. I'm a monster. And it's just like, it's like not interesting, you know? Like, it's, also, she doesn't get to do any fucking detective work in, like, season 2. Like, the plot is just like, she found a clue. She doesn't actually look for anything. It's so frustrating. She doesn't have to outsmart anyone. In fact, she is often the one being outsmarted. Like, that was the fun. The cat and mouse of her and Kilgrave in season 1. Ugh, just none of that is there.
Yeah, well, which is frustrating because, like, what you were saying about the melodrama is interesting because, like, I tend to prefer things that are over the top, ridiculous, like, neo-noir melodrama bullshit things. Mm-hmm. And, by framing Jessica Jones as a detective story in a modern day, they definitely tried to do like a modern, like neo-noir kind of thing with it.
Mm-hmm.
But they grounded it too much in reality to lean into like the really ridiculous parts of that.
Right.
And then in season 2, it felt like they were like, yo, what if we tried? And it's like, no, you already fucked up. You didn't set the tone. There's as ridiculous and garbage as these things are, there's an art to them.
Yep.
There's a reason why Riverdale is successful and Jessica Jones
Oh
is
my
not.
god.
Well, but I that's so apt because like season 1 of Riverdale for me was like watchable garbage, while season 2 was not, and like I feel like season 2 of Jessica Jones was like also watchable garbage, you know? Like
Yeah, I mean, like, at least if you're on board with like. At least Riverdale season 2, if nothing else, like I like it, I will defend it. But at least if you've gotten to the end of season 1, you're like, all right, I know the pace, I know the vibe, I know where we're going. But like, and then so then when they're like, what if we got even wilder? You're like, yes, absolutely, I get it.
It's like,
whereas like this is just like, I don't know, I guess we're turning the fucking ship.
Here's what I figured out just in this moment. Season 1 is like if they went from like season 1 of Breaking Bad to season 2 of Riverdale. Like you can't do that.
Yeah, you can't. There's an art. There's a subtlety. God. You gotta. It's like it's like the cooking the frog thing. You gotta turn it up slowly. You can't just do it.
No.
Honestly, I think the best mentality, I guess, moment that describes up my season 2 Jessica Jones experience was like
the test tube and
it is 10 p.m. and I got 4. Let me tell you what happened. So I was the worst and pretty much crammed Jessica Jones season 2 over 3 days.
Jesus.
I watched Jessica Jones from like 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. alongside schoolwork last night.
No one should ever do that. That's not a sentence that should come
out
of anyone's mouth.
Yeah. And then throughout, I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna make it. I'm on track. And then I decided, instead of watching the last episode, to just have dinner with my friends and just, be like, you know what? Fuck it. Like,
Good choice.
I can't deal with, like, it was just so, and especially for me, like, who had connected so closely with, who had, to be frankly honest, like, connected a lot with Jessica during the first season and still sort of knows those, like, I think what season 2 still did really well is that they still kept, like, Jessica as, like, stubborn as she was. Like, I think there wasn't, like, a huge character inconsistency, but, like, just seeing her go through shit after shit again and, like, seeing the range of emotions she experiences, that was hard. And the fact that I binged that was like, I'm gonna dig myself in a hole of self-pity if I don't get out, if that makes any sense.
It's like, how much misery can you compact and then, like, consume all at once?
Exactly.
Yeah,
like, it's so serious, and, like, just to keep seeing her, like, bogged down, like, was just hard to watch. And, like, yes, like, first season, same shit, but it was handled in, like, a more, I think, nuanced way that sort of presented a more, like, nuanced, holistic view.
Sure.
Yeah, honestly, I'm really glad that season 2 wasn't out at the time that I watched season 1, because I think a lot of the reason that I vibed with it, because I was like, this fucked up person and I are the same. We are both having a time. But, like, watching season 2 at that time, it would have been rough.
Yeah.
It would have been a bad time.
Yeah, everyone has a bad time in that show. I mean, Malcolm is now... He's now on this fake OkCupid, I think. Trish is, becoming more overtly jealous of Jessica's powers and goes through some pretty gnarly lengths to try to...
Yeah, Trish is the worst in this season.
Christ.
Yeah, no, you're right. Trish is the worst.
They put the needles in her back, and then she's like...
it kills me how annoying I find her in this season, because in season 1, like, I love strong female relationships with other characters, like within characters in shows. And, like, seeing that in Jessica Jones season 1 is, like, that's one of my favorite parts of it, is that she does have this just, like, absolute sisterly bond with this other woman. And then to just watch that fall apart for kind of no reason, it feels like, in season 2. Like, the show tries to give reasons, but it all just seems so, like, plot convenient. It doesn't feel natural to these characters, in my opinion. I don't know.
I feel like the arc that they were going for, they planted seeds in season 1, especially showing, like, the physical, like, training and stuff that Trish was doing and her, like, martial arts stuff. I think they were trying to lay out, like, it should have been me thing, but then I don't think that they executed on it well, especially because there did always seem to be, like, the weird rivalry between them because of Trish's mom. Like, it felt like there was stuff there that could have been capitalized on, and then instead of doing that, they were like, what if we just engaged in fuckery?
Yeah.
Well, based on me not having seen the last episode, I don't think this happens, but, like, I still think presenting, like, Jessica versus Trish could be interesting, because after watching season 2, I haven't watched the last episode yet, I had just thought, where can you go from here? If Jessica is completely and utterly alone and you've delved into her past, like, where else can she go?
Gotta make new friends, I guess. Get on Bumble.
That's exactly what she does. I hate it.
God.
I hate that she...
Who are these freaking rando boys in season 2? Like,
I know.
Someone said the name Oscar earlier.
Oscar!
He's the guy with the kid, right? The
Yeah.
landlord dude.
Yeah.
Oscar and Vito.
Yeah. Okay, sure. I'll take your word.
Yeah.
Those are their names. And then Trish had a boy, I think, for a while.
Well, it was Griffin, and then became...
Just let them be gay.
Right.
Like, not because they have, like, a weird relationship that makes
like
that kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But, like, maybe you just don't do that. Maybe you just let them be gay.
Yeah. That's what I assume you meant.
Yeah. No, I just want to clarify that, but yeah.
Yes, get it on the record.
Maybe just let them be gay.
Yeah. They had the thing with, what was his name? Will Simpson, aka Discount Steve Rogers in season 1. And he had the pills, right? And, like...
Oh, yeah, the weird...
Trish gets a little taste of that, and that's... Because she literally has a superpower drug in season 2. She has an inhaler. Just like, I need
which, you know, that's gonna make everybody feel empowered as a fucking inhaler. Yes. Nothing makes you take you some more seriously as a superhero than just being like, hold on, let me shake this up real quick, and then just... Just take a damn pill.
Yeah. Oh, man. I love how they were setting up Will Simpson, and then he just fucking dies in the first episode he's in season 2. Anyway, who cares about that guy?
No one, clearly.
I think in contrast from season 1 for me, which is about power dynamics, I feel like season 2 is more about control. Like, the literal amount of times that they say in the script the word control, I was, like, ready to die by the end of it, you know? Like...
Take a shot!
Like, it's just...
Oh,
so...
That's a dangerous suggestion, Chris.
Every time Jessica breaks a lock.
Oh my god. Breaks a lock, or someone says the word control, you'll die. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Just, like, all subtlety has been thrown out the window, you know? Like, season 1, like, people's motivations are implied, or like you discover them through like wordless scenes. There's none of that in season 2. People just like state their motivations and like say, I can't control this, I can control myself, I'm in control, not my addiction. And like they're all wrong, no one's in control, they're all stupid. I hate it.
Because like at that point, it didn't even feel like, now that you bring it up, it didn't, well, like, I noticed that too, but at that point, I don't think it even felt like a theme. It just felt like a thing that was there.
Yeah.
Like a literal, like, object.
Well,
like,
yeah.
metaphysical object in the show that, like, people were trying to wrestle and argue over. It didn't even feel organic at all.
Nope.
Yeah, it was mostly just like the show being like, the theme is control.
Get it? Her mother's out of control.
Where's the remote control?
I know. Change the channel. And like all the subplot with Hogarth and like being diagnosed with ALS and like, you know, dealing with the fact that she is a character who always likes to be in control and then suddenly isn't in control of her life. She doesn't know when she'll die. She ends up getting
again a lesbian orgy.
She ends up getting like grifted by these people, and so that's an even
Bamboozled.
farther lack of control. But then she takes it back and causes them pain and mayhem.
And, yeah, literal murder she causes.
Yeah.
That's control. Did you not know that it's just murdering people? That's how you control your life, is you just kill people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So you-
Trinity.
That's how you take control of the situation. It's just murder.
Yeah, with a gun. That's the real control. I don't know
That's what
that's all.
Overwatch
Well-
taught me.
And like with her mother and like the doctor who gave them all superpowers, like who's really in
hate that
control.
guy.
Yeah, he's so annoying. Like, God, if someone has words to describe him,
Yeah.
help me out. I just like,
He's just like, you know what he is? Is this Carl, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is Carl. He's just generic.
he's
The guy with
Like,
the... Oh, no, he
he's
has
a
band shirts. No, he has a
stoner.
personality.
He's a stoner. That's his personality. He's like, oh yeah, man, I just want to help people, you know? But then they wanted to make super soldiers, so I stole your mom, and now we're married. I'm your new dad.
Which, like, what? What? And there's no other reaction to that. There's
Yeah.
nothing about that that's not just like, fucking excuse me?
Especially after last season, which was about a man abducting a woman, multiple women, and like controlling them.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah. Also, like, the trope of, like, doctor saves, like, science experiment and then bangs it
Yeah.
is, like, not it.
it's not cool. Not here
Not great.
for it.
Yeah. It feels so weird that it was made before Weinstein and then came out after Weinstein, and then you think like, what the fuck happened here?
I mean, they tried to
Like-
they try to like throw the theme of consent of like, oh, I did not consent to you giving me superpowers. You goddamn stoner man.
That's like a buzzword at that point.
This season also tries to like pull the like superhero people are like oppressed crap. And like, I just am not here for any of it.
Oh,
Especially
yeah.
because I noticed every single time that she brings it up, it's to a person of color. And I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was, like,
Jessica.
the main thing that kept me from watching this show for so long was right after it came out, I follow, like, some, specifically, like, Black women, like, film and TV critics.
Mhm.
And they were all talking about, like, how fucked up this season was just off the bat.
Yeah.
And, like, so when I was, like, looking at the notes today, I was trying to remember, like, some of the specifics of on that crit. And, like, I put some of the articles in the doc. But, like, yeah, the fact that, like Oscar, like, she's literally, like, you're discriminating against, like, superhero
Powered
people. And
people.
he's like, you're not a protected class. And it's, like, literally the conversation is in reference to, like, him not wanting police around in regards to a murder. And it's like, and I think
Yeah.
that as it even says, like, Yeah, like, it's a little bit fucked up that she didn't recognize why, like, a man of color with a child would not want police around in fucking New York when there has been a murder. And, like, that critique was even better because it flat out said, like, yo, it makes sense for Jessica to not understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that nobody else in the show, like, meaningfully engages with it in any way, especially because there are a lot of folks of color, like, is fucked.
Yeah. Well, and then the, like, cop that she has, like, a problem with is, like, the black woman who ends up dying. And, like, it's just so bad. Like,
It's very bad.
It's inexcusable.
I don't even remember.
It's very, like, in, out, but it's the little things, like, it's almost like the little things, like Sunday is the one, like, antagonizing Jones and, like, being distrustful of Jones.
Exactly.
Like, it's a mirror of, like, how, Oscar's ex-wife is like, you know, he's my son, this is everything.
Right.
And, like, just her, like, sort of, like, these people of color almost, like, asking for a favor for, like, the white man or woman, like, the white savior complex, essentially. And it focuses so much more on, like, Jessica and Trish's relationship. And, like, yes, they're both white. Like, that was cast before, like when that season was made, like, over, like, 3 years ago. Like, when the deal was first announced, like, when those two were cast, like, over 3 years ago, like, that was made. But there's still, like, the air of pretension because of whom they focus on and how they look down on others.
Totally.
They had some of those, like, through lines in season 1 where I think someone tries to bamboozle Jessica into, like, solving a case, but it turns out she's just mad because of the incident, as they keep calling it, and then
yeah, like, that
was a weird moment for sure.
Yeah, it's really it was an episode that described more, I guess, the state of, like, her world than, like, offer really anything to this story beyond, like, some background details on, like, the search for Kilgrave. But the biggest problem was that there are, like, a bunch of filler episodes, and Amazon wasn't, like, willing to let go of them, even though they could have come all together and make a different show too.
Yeah. Season 2, Jessica Jones. A lot of interesting things to unpack there. I mean, this is the first time I'm really hearing anything deep and critical about it, because I didn't really engage with the show after I just binged all of season 2, and I was like,
well,
okay, whatever. I just kind of moved on with my day. What's new with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Now, that's a good show, by the way. Was just my attitude.
Has it gotten good again?
Oh, I fucking love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Let me tell you.
Where's that exceptional episode, Chris?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is exceptional, but exceptional being an acronym that I'll come up with an acronym. Anyway, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., great show. Jessica Jones.
Was a great show.
Well, yeah, I mean, I still hold it in high regard, but at least season 1 had Alias to fall back on.
Yeah.
Season 2 was just, like, all original stuff.
New, yeah.
This is like the Game of Thrones effect of, like, what happens when you're ahead of the book.
I don't know. Maybe this is just me, and I'm usually sort of not the best at always picking up on, like, editing and, like, filmmaking, like, technical stuff. But I feel like at this point I can tell when something is bad, and, like I can't pick out what's great, but I can always tell what's bad. And it felt like season 2 was just, like, sort of sloppily made. Like, there were just, like, these weird edits that would come in and out that would just sort of, like, show random images. Like, I can't think of a specific example. I just remember ending one episode and going, who put this together? Like, this is barely cohesive.
Was this a prank?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I just feel like, in general, season 2 just had a lack of attention to detail that season 1 seemed to have. Like, in every way. And that I feel like all of the side stories really pushed towards Jessica's story, but also towards the themes of season 1, whereas in season 2 there's just a lot kind of simultaneously happening, and Jessica is there.
Yeah, like the fact that, I guess, she, honestly, the fact that she's been, I guess, present at, like, every time there's, like, a crime, or, like, the aquarium exploding, or, like, wizard dying, or, like, that's just so, like, what are the odds?
Right.
That's not realistic.
That fucking aquarium scene.
Did that annoying neighbor come back in season 2?
Malcolm?
No. No, the one with the brother who got
no.
totally
Oh, no, they
murdered.
died. I know, sorry. Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
What? Oh, she did. I don't remember that.
No, the guy died.
The guy
died.
died.
I think
No, the
the girl
sister.
moved out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. We
Yeah,
just never
sure.
see her again.
Yeah,
She
there
doesn't
was some gnarly
matter.
stuff in season 1.
Yeah.
That dude put his arm through a garbage disposal.
Yeah,
sink.
but it was compelling. Nothing in season 2 was compelling.
I didn't see more severed arms down the garbage disposal. God, did you know that season 2 was directed entirely by women?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that.
That caused a shitstorm online for obvious reasons. You get to see a lot of comments talking about true equality. They should have equal.
Oh my
men and
god.
women. But no, put these female directors on a platform, please. So
It's unfortunate though that the season sucks.
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like that's the like this is the problem though, that, and like I'm preaching to the choir, I'm sure, of like you know, like you can't make female superhero films because they fail. Like, well, we tried one season where it was all female directors. Can we try another? You know, like you have to try more chances.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't that disastrous. Like all of these directors could still have it as like a nice part of their resume, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And like, you know, there are plenty of like, you know, very talented, like Michelle MacLaren, I think, is one of my favorite television directors of all time. She's done episodes of Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, Walking Dead. Like you like watch a Michelle MacLaren episode and you know that she's behind the camera. She's fucking amazing.
Which episode did she direct?
I'm trying to think of specific Breaking Bad episodes.
Or
Do you
the
remember
Jessica
one-
Jones episode.
Oh, no, she did not do any Jessica
okay.
Jones episode because she has, like, moved past that
Got
point.
it.
She's trying to get into movies, I think.
Okay.
She almost directed Wonder Woman, and then
Oh.
she dropped out for creative reasons, and then Patty Jenkins took over.
Wow.
But I would have
Rip.
loved to see Michelle MacLaren's Wonder Woman.
Yeah, me too. Do you think she wouldn't have had an entire fucking manifesto about love when people were like, yo, this wasn't it?
Oh my god. Dear Lord. Anyway, watch out for that name. But, you know, I would... S.J. Clarkson, I mentioned. Obviously going places, like, switching between franchise every other week, I assume. But, yeah, so before we talk about our hopes and dreams for Season 3, I wrote up a question here. What will the MCU be missing without Jessica Jones? Anyone want to... pick up on
a woman with any amount of complexity.
Yeah, I'm planning on writing an editorial about this, which by the time this will be released, it's already been published, but
Heyo.
I think I am worried for Captain Marvel, for a handful of reasons that you'll see, because I still have to write the thing. But
God, sorry.
Yep.
it's okay. But like, I don't think the movies provide as much of a creative outlet, like as much as TV can. I mean, look at all this bullshit with Rotten Tomatoes and the fact that men still don't understand that yes, women can share a screen with them. And
No, I'm gonna
prosper.
have my voice heard on Rotten Tomatoes
Oh my God.
because it's not possible. Goddamn
Yes.
Disney SJWs.
to quote like Jerry, sorry, like my last point, like to quote Jerry telling Price, like, oh, this is where the man learns that, yeah, sometimes he can't get everything that he wants. And like, you know, women are more powerful than you sometimes. Deal with it.
Yeah.
What's that for?
I don't think any outlet right now, and like maybe the Disney Plus shows, but like we don't know anything about that yet. But like there are no outlets where you can, I think, confidently and adequately really explore the relationships and femininity that Jessica Jones had.
Yeah, well, and I don't think that, like, I mean, movies in general have a really hard time with characterization just because of the format. Like, it has to be, like, a really, really condensed, not even succinct, but it has to be, like, a very focused plot to really achieve characterization in a way that matters.
Mm-hmm.
And Marvel movies, like, super, super struggle with that already. And two, you can just tell already that she's going to just be a stereotypical, like, I do good things because I'm a good person and I'm going to continuously say the word good over and over and over again, or the right thing. That's going to just be what it is. And like, fine, whatever. It is what it is. That's the only way you're going to get a woman headlined Marvel film, and that's fine, I guess. And like, I talk shit about like Jessica Jones also being tropey, but at least that trope leans a little bit closer to like reality in a way that I think a lot of people did really vibe with, and that I don't think Captain Marvel can like grab as well, aside from being like, look at what a great role model she is for little girls.
She's in the Air Force.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, is she really?
Yeah.
That's gonna be
Witness
a huge
her.
part of the movie.
Witness her, a hero.
Yeah, a hero.
A hero.
Commercial
Jesus
stuff.
Christ.
But yeah,
Nope.
they've been going hard with the Air Force related promotion.
Okay, well, sure.
This is like, so last Captain Marvel aside, they are trying to position this as the Black Panther for women. That's not going to happen.
That's not, also, that framing is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
People need to stop fucking saying, especially people who aren't in those identity groups, need to stop fucking saying that anything is gonna be the Black Panther of anything else. That doesn't even fucking make sense. That's nothing. You're just saying words.
Caitlin, I love that. I want a recording of that. when this is
You
out.
can
Make
clip,
that a
I'll clip it.
ringtone.
I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
Aquaman was the Black Panther for
For fish.
Yeah.
For fucking fish.
Like, but the literal Black Panther, because that's what Jason
he's trying
Momoa
to get the
and
throne.
Patrick Wilson had similar arguments aside. But yeah, basically, I think nothing can be the Black Panther for women because we as a society are definitely not in that state.
Okay, Izzy, I got a
To
pitch for
accept
you.
that.
What if there was
Yeah.
an isolated nation that was only full of women? Then, I don't know. And then
Chris, please don't make me dunk on Wonder Woman again.
And then a man comes
I
in.
can't do it. I
a
can't
handsome
do it.
man. Joss
Oh,
Whedon
wait,
wrote
wait,
this.
so mad at me.
Chris, is this man white?
Yes, actually. How did you know?
I mean, the real reason that you can't have a Black Panther for women is because, like, it would just white feminism all over the place. And
Yep.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, look at Jessica Jones did the exact same thing, even though you thought it couldn't be done. But it did. It would be, I will say though, it would be interesting in season 3, because I would assume this season was made because as I mentioned, season 2 was made pre-Me Too, and it came out post-Me Too, and that was like a really, I guess, interesting like time frame. But season 3 will be, I guess, Me Too has happened, and I think at the very least in season 1, Jessica Jones was really relevant for, I guess, the female, like, for, like, I guess in, like, in something more coherent. Maybe feminism is the best word, I can think of right now in my sleep-deprived state. I'll be honest. I watched Jessica Jones until 4 in the morning.
Oh my god.
Why would you do that?
Losing my mind. But, like, I think it'd be interesting to, in season 3, to have a fully explored Me Too aware Jessica Jones and what that means, even in the state I assume she is currently in. But I think it'd be very interesting to explore that. And maybe it'll end up like Daredevil season 3, where it is reported that it's magnificently better than season 2. But I don't know. I really also don't want it to end on the cliffhanger. But yeah.
Did you know that Melissa Rosenberg's production company is called Tall Girls Productions?
Neat.
Why are they gonna be tall?
Right. I'm just looking up season 3 on Wikipedia, and there is literally no information, even though they have like written and shot this thing, other than Kristen Ritter directed an episode, making her directorial debut. Good for you.
I'm gonna assume like I'm gonna look too, but like I assume like all I've heard is that it's coming out later this year.
That's literally all we know.
Yeah. I've heard nothing.
Presumably the fall sometime.
Yeah, anything on the wish list. Again, they have written and shot this thing, so Melissa Rosenberg, if you're listening to this, obviously,
Hi, hello.
Obviously, like there's nothing that can change from now, but anything you hope to see in season 3, the final season.
I mean, I think mostly for me, just a return to like detective work over melodrama would be really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jessica Jones really had the potential to be Batman, but good, and just they didn't stick with it.
No.
Yeah.
Or like, I grew up watching, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on it now, Veronica Mars. And like, it's like that very similar, like, female private eye, like, kind of badass, takes no shit, like, character. And like, I loved that. I would watch a superpowered version of that, and like, if Jessica Jones could just even be there, I'd be happy.
Well, I guess we'll see. I'm looking at the cast list, and it just literally just says Jessica, Trish, Malcolm, and Jerry. Like, it doesn't even have, like, Oscar!
Oh, God.
I literally can't remember any other characters in this show. But yeah, I will assume all the episodes will begin with AKA.
Mm-hmm. Fair assumption.
Yeah, and... yeah, that's us pouring one out for Jessica Jones. This was a little more critical than I thought it was going to be, but
I think the title of this episode is pour one out for Jessica Jones, and I think we really encapsulate that. Just really I think we just really remembered it for its good and bad. Which
we sure did remember it.
Yeah.
I forgot about most of it, but yeah, that's why I was surprised how much of it was bad.
I'm taking a class right now about like remembrance and like truth, and we talk about how a lot of the times like, when we try to remember people, we'll only list like, like there are good memories, like things we like love and cherish for, not for like them being a piece of shit to like homeless people in the streets. So I'm glad, I guess, we're more well-rounded on, I guess, this in memoriam.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? In that case, let's go around the room and let's just say one nice thing about Jessica Jones. Just ended up positive. Izzy, what's one?
I don't know if it's a bit or not.
What's one thing you like about Jessica Jones?
Why are you starting with me? Okay. I like how I appreciate how she sort of awakened me being
to wear leather jackets. No, sorry, keep going.
I like how she sort of I think I learned to be more tough from her, and I think I did talk about how sometimes like being tough and holding everything in is sometimes it's not good at all, and it's not healthy. But I think she really offered, like, she as a character, and I think this speaks to Kristen Ritter more than anything, really offered a character that I could personally connect to. And I think through seeing her erratic season 2 journey, I've learned how to be a better person.
What not to
also,
do.
Oscar's attractive. And
yes.
That's it.
Yep, okay, that was her nice thing about Jessica Jones, that Oscar's attractive, and...
That's it. That was the only takeaway there.
Yeah. Caitlin, your turn. You have to say something else about Jessica Jones.
So I appreciated that in the first season, there was a moment where they made it seem like they were gonna make Kilgrave, sympathetic, and that they were gonna use his trauma to explain all of his fuckery away. And then, instead of falling into that bullshit, Jessica Jones was like, nah, I'm gonna kill this fucker.
Yeah.
Well
Snaps
said.
to that.
Oh, I will add the subversion of David Tennant's stereotypes was also a great contribution that Jessica Jones had.
Yeah.
I do just hate him now. I can't watch him in anything else. But
I could never hate him. I just see the wibbly wobbly timey-wimey doctor.
I was talking.
I don't like Doctor Who,
In
so I just was like,
concordance-
oh, this motherfucker.
Yeah.
I also don't like. I don't like Doctor Who. I just said I never got into it. Aside, okay. Keep going.
Hannah, one thing you like about Jessica Jones.
God, I feel like they've all been stolen. No, I feel like it's a cop out to say all of season 1. I'll say the female friendship in season 1 and just how female driven so much of season 1 was. I really appreciated that. It was such a refreshing piece of media to watch, especially after all of the angst of Daredevil.
My city!
It's just such male angst, and this was so, like, actual female trauma, and I was like, yes! Stories about this! Anyway.
Yeah. Man, there's a lot of, like, buff dudes punching each other in Daredevil, like...
In the media.
Mhm.
What
I
are
mean,
you
that
talking
fucking
about?
scene.
When you
No,
said
the fucking scene in season 2 where Matt
the
Murdock.
hallway?
No, not the hallway, but like he visits Kingpin in prison, and they just start. They're sitting in chairs, and they just start punching each other.
No,
I
Chris,
always...
I kid you not. I'm sorry to cut you
Yeah.
off. Cut you off. I can't. I kid you not. When you said my city, I blanked for a minute and thought, "Are you quoting Stephen Amell?"
Well,
Arrow?
Daredevil and Arrow, they have their overlaps.
Every time I hear Devil, I just think of my co-host from Palin Around and my dear friend who I love. I'm sorry, I'm about to drag you to hell.
Yeah, do it.
She loves vigilante, fucked up, terrible men.
No.
And there's one scene
Mm.
in Daredevil where he's just like walking through the hallway fighting the people or whatever. I've never seen the season, the show that it's from. I think it's season 2, but he's just like, he goes through it and he kicks all these dudes' ass and then he's just like fucking wrecked at the end. And she's like, this is the thing that gets me more than anything else. And I'm like, you're broken.
Should show her the shot. I think it's season 3, but he's like beaten up. He just like stumbles into his apartment, takes off his shirt because he's buff, and he's got bruises and cuts all over, and he just fucking falls down to the ground, and then like, same, yo. Without the buff part, but yeah. Anyway, the thing I like about Jessica Jones is that she just fucking abuses her superpowers. Like, hey, my friend's getting towed. Let me just fuck up this tow truck.
Yeah, I would absolutely do that kind of shit, which is why I should never be trusted.
Doing for my girls, you know? Oh, man. Okay, let's wrap this up. Oh. Jessica.
Jessica.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can find me, Chris Compendio. I am at Compenderizer. I'm currently kind of on a social media hiatus, sabbatical, whatever you want to call it. But if you want to follow me anyway, you know, that is totally fine. I will still retweet things like new AP Marvel episodes, which come out every Thursday. And yeah, Izzy, where can people find you on the Twitter?
You can find me at Deliriland. If you look hard enough, you can find my pictures of when I dress up as Jessica Jones. That's it.
Yeah, just hire a private investigator and
A PI.
Yeah, PI. Preferably one who doesn't get day drunk. Anyway.
I feel like that's just like part of having a PI license.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes with a booze.
Yeah, at this point.
It comes
With a single
flask.
booze. With one booze. Here's your badge. Here's your one booze.
One singular
Yeah.
booze.
Oh man, yeah. The singular booze is just boo, actually. Caitlin, where are you on Twitter? And any last minute plugs? And shout outs too. If you wanted to name drop. You were dragging.
I already name dropped Jess. It's
Okay,
fine.
yeah.
So you can find my personal account at CG and 8Rs on Twitter. It's a lot of me Pokemon shit posting right now. And you can find my website at Your Geeky Gal Pal on Twitter and just yourgeekygalpal.com. And you should subscribe to Palin Around. It's PALIN apostrophe and then the word around. It's a good show. And then when you do that, you should also rate and review it. And then, yeah, that's it. Oh, I do a Fall Out Boy podcast too, so you could listen to that. It's called Sugar. We're going down podcasting. It's mean.
Yes.
It's a mean
Oh,
Fall
yeah.
Out Boy
Oh, yeah.
podcast.
Will you be back on Bayonetta
Yes.
shit posting by then? Next week?
I can't Bayonetta shit post till they give me something.
That's true,
So
yeah.
Platinum,
throw us a
help me
bone.
out, please.
Oh man. Hannah, I'm sure you can't help out Bayonetta, but where can people find you online anywhere?
You can probably the best place to talk to me on Twitter is the @TalkingTropes official podcast Twitter, since I don't really use my personal one at all.
That's good, actually. That's good. Good on you.
You can also subscribe to Talking Tropes if you're interested on any podcasting device anywhere. Also, rate and review if you enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Is that Talking Tropes? Is that with a G or an apostrophe? Is it Talking Tropes?
It's the full word talking.
Okay.
Talking with
Yeah.
the G.
The formal,
Okay.
the formal talking.
yeah.
Yes.
The
Well,
Usted
We're actually
talking.
changing. We're taking the R out of AP Marvel, and it's just going to be AP Marvel with an apostrophe in between.
It's
so-
more casual.
Stop. Not everybody can pull off the apostrophe. I'm just gonna say it's not for everybody.
Oh man. Anyway, you can find AP Marvel with the R in it. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitter. We are on Medium. We are also on Patreon. We are trying to. This is a first March episode coming out. We are trying to. I think we're going to try to start campaigning again because we really want money to be able to pay writers. So if you notice, we've had a lot of written pieces from our own staff members, but we want to get cool guests in. So even if you just drop $1 a month, that would really help us go a long way to get some guest writers in, get their voices in, especially with Captain Marvel coming out, because boy, is there going to be a lot of discourse on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Air Force!
Digital media is fucked, so you should support indie outlets through subscription services.
Yeah,
Truly.
totally. Specifically, patreon.com/Marvel. But no, there's plenty of good stuff around to support. Yeah. We also have Charles Villanueva did the graphics for us. Steve Molitor did the track Jazz Ventures. Thank you for everyone who subscribes, to reviews. Thanks to all of our Patreons. And we'll be back next week. Izzy, I think you're still going to do an all-female Captain Marvel hot take episode. Is that correct?
But yeah, I am trying to get together a Captain Marvel hot take with all women, and so be on the lookout for that. And I'm trying to plan it out right now, and yeah.
Cool. Your Captain Marvel piece will be out, and I think I will have a Punisher Season 2 piece out. Y'all voted in a Twitter poll. I said, hey, should I write my Punisher Season 2 take? Like, it was trying to write my Punisher Season 2 is bad take. Is it too soon, or should I just let him have it? And an overwhelming percentage said let him have it. Yeah. So, sorry, Frank Castle. Your time's up. All right,
Time to
thanks for
be
listening.
punished.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
For making you
ah.
watch that.
Yeah. Dear God. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
God. Did you know that the freaking season ends with him, like, gunning down a bunch of minorities and, like, screaming like a maniac, and then it just smash cuts to In Memory of Stan?
No.
That checks out. That checks out.
I'm not making that up. Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah, no, that sounds correct.
Ugh. Ugh.